Alright, this card is ass. Now, I don't wanna hate on it too much, I mean, some of these fights, they do make sense. Iliatopuria versus Justin Gaethje. I was one of the main people saying that Jones never should have fought Stipe. He should have been forced to fight Aspinall, you know? If you have an interim champ and you have an undisputed champ, the undisputed champ has to fight the interim. I get that. I agree. You know, I was saying it back when Jones was about to fight Stipe, so I won't be a hypocrite now. Obviously, I'd rather see Ilya fight Islam, but this fight makes sense, Ilya and Gaethje. So, given the timeline, you know, the lightweight title picture, it has to happen at some point. So whatever. Justin Gaethje is also, I'm using air quotes here, but the only American male champion. Granted, it's interim, and he really shouldn't have had that shot to begin with against Patty. It should have been like Holloway versus Arman. So Pereira versus Gane. This fight's not bad. I mean, sucks that Aspinall's out of the loop for an undisclosed amount of time. We don't know when he'll be back, if he'll be back at all. This fight, like I said, not bad. If this was the main event of UFC 327, nobody would have batted an eye. I mean, this fight itself, it's a good fight. You know, sucks that we have an interim championship fight as one of the two title fights for the UFC White House card, but you know, it has to happen at some point, so whatever. He's Pereira's obviously a fan favorite, so it makes sense he'll be on this card. Um, this is where it gets bad, bro. Like none of this shit makes sense to me. I mean, Sean O'Malley is number 3 in bantamweight, just beat Song Yadong, who's ranked number 5. Why is he fighting down against Ayman Zahabi, who's coming in at number 6? Rufi, number 9 in lightweight, right? Just beat Fiziev, who's number 11. Why is he fighting number 13, Michael Chandler? Why are O'Malley and Chandler fighting down? If O'Malley wanted to be on the card, he should have fought Sandhagen. Sandhagen said he was ducking O'Malley. Maybe O'Malley thinks he beats Ayman Zahabi and then gets a title shot. I mean, this dude does not. He should not get to pass Marab, bro. Rufi, I don't know. I mean, he's referred to himself as like the new age Conor McGregor a few times. I mean, I don't know if this is just Cope, you know, giving us like the Timu version of McGregor versus Chandler. I don't know what it is. Rufi, he just beat Fiziev, close fight, knocked him out, right, at UFC 326. Or sorry, 25, 325. This, bro, you could be moving up in the division and fighting better guys. Like he could be fighting Paddy Pimblett, who's, I mean, higher ranked. I don't want to say better, but he could be fighting Paddy Pimblett. He could be fighting BSD maybe. Like they better be giving Rufy a fat check for this White House card to fight Chandler, bro. Chandler, I would have rather seen him fight Covington. I mean, Chandler will not be fighting for a belt in the UFC again. You know, he's if he wants to fight for some type of belt, it needs to be at RAF, some type of freestyle wrestling where he's best. You know, his MMA days are behind him. He should have fought Chandler, someone else that's like a true blue-blooded American, pretty washed, but would still, you know, bring a lot of smack talk a lot of shit, go in there and have a great fight. I don't understand this fascination with Bo Nickel, dude. I mean, Bo Nickel is unranked, and this is the fourth. I think it's the fourth. I know they're not pay-per-views anymore, but numbered event, whatever you want to call it, like major UFC fight, like event where Bo Nickel is on the main card. I don't get this. Like he's unranked, and this is the fourth time he's on a main card for a huge event. I don't get this. Kyle Dawkins, I have no issue with the guy. I mean, he should not be fighting on this card. Like, why he's fighting Bo Nickel, I don't know. I don't think these two have any bad blood. I mean, Kyle Dawkins, he has no real pull. I mean, I checked this morning. The guy has 15,000 followers on Instagram. 15,000. Why is he fighting? Like, why is he the second fight, fifth from the main event of the White House card, bro? Why? What appeal is there? Who asked for Kyle Dawkins to be on this card? And then Diego Lopez versus Steve Garcia. Now, this is a good fight. I mean, this sucks because Diego Lopez got the undeserved immediate rematch against Volkanovski. It really sucks because Diego Lopez is not a bad guy at all. He's a good fighter, and I'm sorry, it wasn't immediate because he did fight. It was immediate for Volk. That was his most recent fight. after their first one, but Lopez beat Silva, even though he was losing that fight at one point. But like I said, Lopez is not a bad dude at all, but these circumstances are just shitty, bro. The UFC is putting him in these terrible positions where like you fight Volk, right? Lose. You fight Silva, and then after a very close fight that you were losing at one point, you go and get another title shot against Volk, get dominated, and now you're the first fight of the UFC White House card. Like the UFC is setting you up for failure with the fans. And Steve Garcia, like, he's another good fighter. I mean, he's got wins over he's got a bunch of first round finishes too. Wins over David Onama, Melizakiel Costa, who else? Calvin Cater. Like Steve Garcia is a good featherweight. I mean, he's better than some other guys like, say, Rob Font or I don't know, Dan Ige. But this is a good fight. It just sucks that this is this could be like like an Apex card co-main event, you know, or a main event maybe. Even that would be a little underwhelming. So like to have this on what we've had, what we've heard this described as the biggest card of all time, the most important card of all time, you know, the best the best card since UFC 300, which featured like 7 current and former champions. I mean, we had Pereira, current champ at the time, still, you know, he just vacated, but Jamal Hill, former champion, Zhang Weili, current champ at the time, Justin Gaethje, former interim champ, Max Holloway, former featherweight champion, Charles Oliveira, former lightweight champion, Yuri Prohaska, former light heavyweight champion. So I just named 7 fighters who are current or former champions during UFC 300, bro. That is way better than what we got here. Now I know some expectations were unrealistic. People, myself included, were saying, "Oh, I want to see Islam versus Ilya." You know, that would be unfair to Gaethje because he is the interim. However, it'd be one of the biggest fights of all time. Um, Jones versus Pereira, unrealistic. Um, Conor McGregor versus Chandler, I think that one was somewhat realistic considering how much Conor has been tested this year, and he is back in shape. Um, Hamzat versus Strickland after his win over Hernandez. If not, you know, say Strickland lost that fight, Izzy versus Strickland. Like, there were a lot of fan favorite matchups that we were asking for that to get all of them would be unrealistic. However, we should have gotten a few of those. I mean, like I said, Ilya and Gaethje make sense. Pereira and Gane make sense, but like they couldn't give us O'Malley versus Sandhagen. They couldn't give us like who else? Derek Lewis couldn't be on this card against Gable Steveson, who will sign to the UFC at some point. Who are some fan favorites, bro? Like this could have had 10 fights easily, and you could have had Kevin Holland open up the prelims. Kevin Holland is, you know, he likes Trump. Trump likes him. True American, entertaining fighter. Like Kevin Holland could have been on this fighting someone in welterweight. Covington could have been on this. I mean, on one hand, I get that to expect Ilya, Islam, Pereira, Jones, McGregor, who else? Hamza, etc., all on one card is very unrealistic. But on the other hand, this was said to be the best card of all time. This was said to be bigger than 300. We were told, granted, this was by Trump, who does not know UFC at all. He said there would be 7 or 8 title fights, which we kind of, when you hear 7 or 8, you think, okay, 5 or 6, right? Then we were told, I don't remember who said this exactly, but we were told, and take this with a grain of salt, 5 to 6 title fights. But when you hear 5 to 6, you think to yourself, okay, we'll get 4 title fights, with one of those being WMMA. You're not thinking when you hear 5 or 6 title fights, you're gonna get 2 and 1 is for the interim belt, bro. So this card is just, it is the most underwhelming thing I've seen of all time from the UFC. Let me know if you guys agree. Maybe I'm just bitching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.